All right, it's 5:32. I'd like to call to order the March 20th, 2024 Economic Development Commission. Pat, can you please call the roll?
Okay, Mark McLaughlin, Director.
Here.
Chairman Tony Odo. Gada Fahami.
Here.
Patrick Roby.
Here.
JP Hackbaum. Larry Calvert.
Here.
Ethan Tudor-Leon.
Here.
And Patrice Gallagher. Trustee Deepa Kuma. We have two guests tonight, Gina Dugo and Joe Amore.
Okay. I'm looking for a motion to elect a chairman pro tem for this meeting.
I'd like the motion for Larry.
A second.
Any discussion on the motion?
No?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Excellent, you're up, Larry.
Okay. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Although Pat's already done the roll call. Is there an approval for the minutes from February 21st?
I left it, because I read it.
Pardon me?
I read it before the
Okay.
meeting.
Has a motion?
I'll second.
All right, and there's a second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So tonight we have a couple of things. We'll start with business, starting with our review of the business introduction letter that we discussed at our previous meeting. Let's find that here. Okay. And any discussion regarding this letter? JP put this together, right? Is that right?
Yeah, so he sent me the file that he had
Yes.
created, and then I took it, formatted it, threw it on a letterhead, and then letterized it, if you will, right? So obviously the blanks for the business name, the contact, and street address will get filled out as we populate who they're going out to, and then the signature and who's actually sending that out based on which one of you guys sends it out. But then the text, the meat of it in the two paragraphs there is mostly JP's language.
Is the letter attached here?
Yeah, it was right before. I think
You ripped it out, Larry.
I ripped it off.
There it is.
Okay,
There you
all
go.
right, there. Thank you. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, no problem. Is mostly JP's language, just a little tweaks
Uh-huh.
and a little formatting and some punctuation, that kind of stuff. So, and then that line about in the post-COVID, which we talked about last time, is in there. It's the end of that first paragraph. So really, you guys are looking at this. Any additional comments, corrections, changes, and then it is fit to print when we know what the business is and who's being assigned to what.
Okay. Shall we take a moment to read it again? And
I guess I was just gonna ask about that. Do we have a updated list of who's gonna be going where, anything like that, or?
I have not gotten any direction from Tony on that yet.
Gotcha, okay.
May I come in?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So I remember last time, I mentioned posting or giving them the reason. So just to help capture growth, is that enough?
The more
Post-COVID.
information we gather
Yeah.
for each businesses, the better we can inform the village trustees on proper policies to help capture growth post-COVID. It's up to you guys if you want more forceful or it's its own thought or whatever you guys.
where were you thinking of adding that?
So it's the
No, I was
last
just thinking,
sentence of the
like-
first paragraph.
Okay, the more
if we want
for each
Yeah.
business.
Make that more robust.
Inform the village trustees.
Like what's in it for them?
The intent is to find
Okay.
out.
Did you like that sentence?
Yeah,
Got it,
it's
or
perfect.
did
No,
you
no,
want to change
The whole
it?
letter is perfect.
Okay.
I was just,
Yeah.
should we put another reason, like, or how are we gonna use this information besides help capturing growth?
I mean, this is
That's, I mean,
like an
right?
intro letter, so
Yeah.
it might be something where
We discussed.
we discuss
Bit
with
more
them.
in
Yeah,
detail in
Probably more
person,
broad
things. Yeah.
in the letter, better.
All right. Do we need to vote on this letter, or can we just
You
agree
can,
on it?
you do
or-
have four, so that, as long as you all vote yes, then it would pass, and then that would
Alright.
be the letter.
Okay, so shall we just take a quick vote on this letter and finalize this as our letter going forward in 2024? We'll just take a roll call vote. Gada?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I forgot.
Patrick.
Patrick.
Yes. Ethan.
Ethan. Boy, I'm really good with names
Oh,
today.
man.
Okay, and I too vote yes, so
Excellent.
this will be our letter going
Perfect.
forward. And then our next item of business is review and comments of our 3-year new business report, and that is attached for your review. And we can go ahead and discuss this. Mark, do you want to start with
Sure.
that?
So there was a request from the village board to create a report or at least information based on what businesses have been coming to Villa Park over the last number of years. And so I created the 3-year report. I did not want to take 2020 data, as we discussed earlier. It was an anomaly year. So let's just start with 2021, which we'll call quote unquote post-COVID, right? Through 2023, and that's through December 31st of 2023. So it's a full 3 years broken down then, as you can see, by year. So here's the new businesses, actual new businesses, and then we also have ownership change. A business gets sold, but it's still there. That's still something that we monitor and reinspect. And then just a straight up name change. In my example, of that is Dunkin' Donuts to Dunkin'. So it's a business decision, but it's still something that we have to do. Usually there's a sign permit that's associated with it, rebranding, new cards, that kind of stuff, right? So those are the 3 points that we capture. And then you can see by year percentage, how much are auto sales, how much are retail percentage-wise, and then in the column on the right is actual number of those. And then the second page after that is the list of those particular businesses by alphabetical order, and then the NAICS category. That is the national standard on how businesses get categorized. So we're using that. And then it's 3 years, 21, 22, 23. Straight data, that's all it is. And then there's the roundup, the summary. So over those 3 years, we had 158 new businesses, 24 name changes, ownership changes, and 5 name changes. So same exact pie and chart, so it's consistent through all the data as you come down the line. And then just a real quick summary. The most prominent sector that we grew was the service industry. For the last 3 years, it's been service. Within that, the services were salon, barber. 51 of those were, 51 services, 10 of those being a salon or a barber over the last 3 years. So that's 20% of the services were a salon or a barber. So it's just breaking down some of that data and what that means. What else? Retail sales and restaurants, we had 18 of those. And then new businesses in the medical, construction, vehicle sales, vehicle repair made up the remainder of that. There were a couple of 1s and 2s, but those were where there's quantity there. And then just a caveat on the data. Data is just data, and obviously it's only a 3-year snap, so it's not a trajectory of where we're going. This is what's going on, and as we build more data, 24, 25, 26, then we can start doing actual trajectories. And in addition, when we actually have a business list, an actual audit of all the businesses in town, we can then actually do vacancy rate. And are we losing a business to make up for a business? Because then are we just business neutral, right? Or are we actually growing? That data we don't have yet, so I can't present that. This is what has happened in the last 3 years without that additional analysis. So, in short, that's my summary.
It's really
Awesome.
Yeah, it's nice seeing the breakdown
Yeah.
of everything, so.
Excellent.
So we had the least amount of new businesses in 2023.
Right. True. So the idea is that you guys can make comments on this, any suggestions, any changes, we'll tweak it, and then this will be a report then will go to the village board, similar to like an attachment to a weekly report or a monthly report. I'm not gonna do like a full cow presentation, it's just here's the report.
Okay.
And-
We were talking about, sorry,
Oh, no, go ahead.
remember we were talking about us identifying what kind of new businesses should open in Villa Park, what are we in need of? Remember we talked about that?
You did.
I think we did brainstorm too. So maybe that's something like,
Yeah, I'm hoping that after staff completes the business audit of what we actually have, which it'll be address, the name, and then we're gonna associate the NAICS code as well, so what is it actually?
Yeah.
Then that would be a great time to, cause then I can run percentages. We are 50% auto sales, I don't know, I'm just making
Right.
stuff up, right? And we're 4% restaurants. We should have more restaurants, I'll let that data, then you guys can analyze it, but we are, that is a budgeted task for us to do this year. We have not started yet.
And I know we talked about this in the past, but do we have a database of all the businesses in the village?
Do not, that is why it's a specific budget goal to accomplish
I
this year.
was
Yeah.
gonna suggest that maybe as
Yep.
part of this plan, that become one of the recommendations or the ask is that there be
Yes.
some type of fund set aside or
Absolutely.
resources to
Already
create
done,
that.
I just need to do it,
Yeah, okay,
the hard part.
right. And we,
The fun stuff.
Yes,
and this does not include businesses that have left the village because we don't have a way of tracking that.
correct, it does
I was
not.
gonna ask.
Yes, once we have that actual business list with all those addresses associated with it, we can then additionally track as businesses leave. But the only thing we ever get notified now is when someone wants to open. But we don't know a vacancy behind that, if it's been forever, or if it's just they left a month ago. There's no required notification that I'm leaving. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So basically, these accounts that are new, it's just basically what's on the books, what was permanent. We don't even know if they're functioning or.
that's
Just,
correct, that's correct. And so it happens that a business doesn't even survive a year.
Yeah.
So there are businesses on this list that I know of that are on here, new business in 2023, that are already closed.
Yeah.
It's a snapshot in time. It's just data. Yep. But yeah, if anything on the numbers, the formatting, any of that kind of stuff I'm looking for, anything else you'd like to see, if I have it, obviously I'll let you know, but this was my attempt to get it out.
This is a good start.
Very informative.
Anyone have any suggestions, recommendations regarding this report?
Maybe when it comes to like, say, service or like the retail aspect, if they're like category, like if they have license for liquor or gambling, maybe have like a tier when it comes to that. Special permitting.
Okay. And regarding liquor licenses, there's a clear,
Yeah, that I can pull.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a clear list of that and the types of liquor licenses. And maybe even those that have gambling attached to
The
it.
gaming,
Yeah, gaming.
Gaming, cool.
Other than this looks very good.
Yeah.
The gaming pretty much goes along with
The liquor,
Yeah.
that's right, it does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, very few instances where gaming would be allowed without a liquor license. So.
All right. So Mark, do you want us to kind of take a roll call vote on this informally as well?
That'd be great, and then you guys have vetted it, and then we'll add
Okay.
the liquor license and gaming, and then I can present it to the board.
Okay. We'll just take a informal roll call vote. Got it?
Yes.
Patrick?
Yeah, I agree.
Ethan?
Yes.
And I too vote yes, so
Excellent.
this looks good, Mark. So
Thank you.
present it to the trustees for review. Anything else?
I do
On our
not have any other
New business?
business for today.
And then at a later date, then, Gotti, you were here when we talked about this. It's your understanding that we're going to then, at our next meeting, after we've kind of identified this and everything, that we're going to assign businesses for this coming year to visit and make those reports. You know,
Yes.
you did that really well last year. So, okay.
Cool.
All right. Shall we move on then to public comments?
Yes, please.
All right. Number 4, public comments. You know, we have a couple of guests, Gina and Joe, right?
After you.
And it's not that I remembered your name. I wrote it down when you were introduced, since I was not doing well with names today. So Gina, would you introduce yourself and tell us a little about yourself and why you came to visit us.
Sure, my name is Gina Dugo. I am the office manager at Ridgeway Precision Mechanical. We are a heating and cooling company in Villa Park. And we are also licensed plumbers. And we're just questioning, as far as our plumbing list goes, it seems we were on there in 2021, but then we were removed in 2022 and 29 other businesses were added to the list. So we're kind of trying to figure out what criteria, being a licensed business, do we need to be on that list?
I can answer that one.
Excellent.
Have you done work in the town in the last year
Yes.
on permits?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, because if you're, I don't know how often they would run that list, but we do not have any criteria for you to be on that list. We do not recommend anybody, any contractor, plumber, electrician, or nothing. The village does not do that. We will run a list who has done work in town when requested. Okay, so it's based off of how, if you've done work in the village or not.
So the active plumber lists are not validated, they're not,
They're
so,
just people that have done work in town.
so being a licensed plumber in the town, we're not automatically registered on the
Yeah,
list?
so,
You should be, it might have to be updated, that's about it.
Well, the question is that in 2021, we were not on the list, and I had to call to be put on the list. So we were put on the list, but then in 2022, it was reprinted with 29 other companies added, and we were removed. So we're just questioning, as
Sure.
of to date,
Real
we're
quick,
not on that as
what was,
well.
real quick, what's the source of the active plumbers list? Like, where did you get that?
From the village?
Yeah, that comes from permitting,
Yes.
and I think Dale assists on, running basically it's just a data report on,
Okay.
there's different categories, okay? There's I think a category for electricians, one for plumbers, and he will go back through and pull off those contractors that have been on a permit, and that's how they end up on that list.
But is that list posted somewhere?
No, it's not.
No
You
one
have
in
to call and
request
request.
actually was in there.
Like a FOIA?
Correct.
No,
We have
no,
to-
they can just call and ask for a list of
Okay.
contractors for electrician, plumbers, any type like that we do have. We don't have everything broken down the last time I knew. But it's, as I said, the village does not recommend
Right.
anybody, so it's not a recommended list. It's just a list of contractors that have done work in town.
Yeah.
is
So
what
if
it
a
is.
permit under your guys' firm hasn't been issued in the last year, then it wouldn't come up on that particular list. And then,
We've had,
that's the only criteria that would this category, that this would be categorized on. As Pat pointed out, we do not make recommendations on who someone should hire. These are the people that have applied for permits.
so as far as RPZ testing is the same, your list goes, that's, you have to have a permit for RPZ testing to be on that list as well, because we're not on that either.
Okay, it all comes down to a plumber's list, because a plumber doesn't.
No,
have
it's a
to-
separate RPZ
Sorry.
list.
Right,
Yeah.
you have to have for an RPZ, you have to have a special license to
We
do
do.
that, okay? But again, that's the same thing. We
Yeah.
don't have, because you don't want it to come down where the village is recommending somebody. Basically, if they ask for that list, we hand it to them and say, this is a list of people that have done work.
This is from 2015 is that last.
So then that
updated
needs to
list.
be updated.
Yes.
Yes. So I'll have to talk to the IT department and find out when they can get that updated, because it's a special report that they have to generate and run.
And being that we have had permits pulled in this time frame, doesn't constitute us for why we're not on the list?
As the only thing I
Yeah,
can say, it just hasn't been updated.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're treating that list as an advertisement, like we're promoting, and we're absolutely not. So not being on there is not a recommendation from the village. I just need to make that abundantly clear.
It's nothing
And-
against you or your
Right,
company
and
at all.
and honestly,
Well,
this is
we-
the first time I'm even hearing about this, because it's not a published document that we have. It's essentially a FOIA that says who's done business in the last year, and that's perfectly fine. You know what I'm saying? Who did business? That's a valid question. Who should I have inspect my RPZ? Anybody you want. You know what I mean?
So what you're stating is that you have to have a permit pulled within a year to be added onto the list? Because the updating on it, this is 11/18/22 and 2/4/21.
Well, it depends on what the request was as well. So give me.
Just an active plumbers list.
That's not an actual report that we manage and maintain, though. That's what I'm getting at.
So if I was a new homeowner moving into the village, which is how we just acquired this, is because we had somebody coming into the village and said, find out about a plumber.
Yeah.
So they called to get the active plumbers list and said, hey, what'd you do that, why aren't you guys on that list? And I said, not sure. So I pulled up the last list that we had, which again, we had to call to get put on that list. And we were told that they just, I'm not sure why. But in saying is, we're just curious as to know as to why we weren't on it, then we were on it, and then we were taken off of it, and we've done work in this village. We're out of this village, so.
Sure, right.
We do work in this village, permitted work, and just kind of wondering, so the new people coming in don't even have an opportunity to call us because we're not on the list that the village is providing to homeowners that are
I
requesting.
can get it updated.
But I guess that's my point,
Yeah.
though, is that we're not actually providing it to homeowners.
I actually grabbed that list a couple months ago myself, and I actually know a few contractors that were not on that list. And I know for a fact that they've done work, so it's all about the updating
And
aspect
how
of
did
it.
you acquire an
Yeah.
active
I
contract list?
walked, because when I moved in, I got handed a welcome packet.
Okay.
And that was something that was on there, because we were doing some work to the house. We looked in the permitting and all that stuff, and then I got that list. So,
In your-
and then I
in your
tried
welcome
again
packet.
recently.
Customer,
so.
so it's
In your
not-
welcome packet?
That's
Yeah, it was something that I think the lawyer who's also in town had. He's like, if you're planning on doing something, here's a list of things that I acquired from the village. They have a database that they try to keep updated as much as possible.
Got it.
So
Thank you
I
for
don't know how things get put on or dropped off.
Yep.
I think
So that is concerning, because, we have been in the village since 2000, and we do not get calls often from people that, again, just questioning as to why
I
and
know,
how
I
we
do
can
know
get
that
added
list is
onto it.
only given out if somebody calls us or comes in and says, can you recommend somebody to do this job? And we automatically say, no, we cannot recommend. And they're like, do you have any kind of a list who's done work in town? Then that's where that list comes into play.
Well, as he said. he
yeah,
was
it
right,
helps
so-
too
And it
because
helps.
they've jumped through the process of permitting and everything. Like I'm naive when it comes to
So, yeah,
that.
I'm just
No, I-
inquiring as to
Yeah, no,
where-
this is-
how do we get, added back onto that list, so when the new people
Yeah.
that are coming can call us, because, we survived COVID as well, so.
And
And
Pat,
this letter that you have here is, I think extremely good, that was in your agenda that you're gonna be sending. I think
good.
that is very good, and it should go to all businesses where they're all acknowledged.
Excellent.
so Pat, I have a quick question. So when a business comes in to pull a permit like that, they have to provide proof of insurance as well, correct?
Yes.
Only for plumbing, roofing, and
Electrician.
no, sanitary? Sewer.
Okay.
Sewer contractor.
So they,
Yeah. Only the ones that Illinois licenses.
okay.
Illinois does not license electricians. Yeah.
But Gina, as far as you don't have to do anything, it's more on our part to update the list.
Okay.
And I will
So if we can just
check into
be
it.
questioned, or, added on to, that
Well,
would be great.
and
Very
maybe
good.
some type of a qualifier that this is not a recommended list, this is
Well,
just a
that's what
list
we're,
of,
yeah, that's,
an explanation, this is the list of people
Be-
who have done business in the village in the past year, who have requested a permit,
Correct.
yeah.
I mean,
Not-
it's an overwhelming list. There's a lot of people
Sure.
on it from all
All
walks
over.
of
So
I try to stay local too when I'm
Yeah.
reaching out.
Because
Well, and
I-
that's the other thing, is
Yeah.
29 of the other companies aren't even local on the new list. There's a lot of them that are in different towns, which was
Yeah.
troublesome as well as to why.
In
we're
fact, that's
the
why I
town and
called
not
one of the
on
people
there.
like, yeah, we're not on that list, but we're on on another list or something. So I think it was something through the Chamber of Commerce or something.
That's exactly.
Yeah,
right.
so.
yeah. And the chamber can recommend, but I can't as
Yeah.
the municipality. But yeah, I'm gonna look into the whole active plumber, contractor, the whole thing, cause this is new information to me. And I'm now questioning where this is gonna be found and all that stuff, so. Thank you for bringing it to my attention.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gina. All right, and then next is Joe has some information he'd like to talk to us about.
Yes, please. So, for those who don't know me, I'm Joe Morey. I've lived in town since 1985. I serve on the Bike Pedestrian and Transit Subcommittee of the Environmental Concerns Commission. I'm also a member of a commissioner on the ECC. So, throughout in my travels, I sometimes go to the city of Wheaton for their bicycle and pedestrian commission meetings, because sometimes we coordinate with information, so we both share the prairie path. And this year when I went to, I noticed that they were still doing Zoom meetings even though the governor's emergency order had expired. The snapshot that I gave you in the attachment in the email shows the commission meeting with commissioners who were actually out of town being part of the meeting, and members of the public also. We talk about transparency, and the village trustees have tasked all the commissions to make audio or other types of recordings for meetings. So I spoke to them, and they said that the city clerk, whose name is on here, and I spoke to her too, would be happy to help set that up and explain to our village officials what ordinances need to be passed, how to be in compliance with the Open Meeting Act. The second page is actually a copy of their available agenda that goes out every month, and it's on their website, and it gives the Zoom access. I'm sure everybody's done a Zoom meeting at some point in their life now, but it does add transparency, it does add participation. So I've been attending all of the different commission meetings in the village throughout the month, because the village will only, will not, in its due diligence, they will not share commissioners' emails with the public, only village staff, and that's under the Villa Park website where they have contact information, like for trustees. That's the only ones that I sent the emails out to. So I stopped by to make this available to you all. It's not actionable. I'm just keeping you informed that what I'm doing, just to try to get them to consider doing the work that would make it more beneficial for not only you folks, but for residents who can't make it here for one reason or another. The city clerk's name is Andrea. She told me the work was all done in-house. So I'm not sure what type of recurring expenses would have to be looked into, but got a nice video production facility right next door. I don't know why they couldn't create a shared space for all the meetings to use, because some people that I've spoken to, the audio only recordings sometimes can be a little clunky. They don't really, people aren't used to announcing when they're talking who's doing the speaking. So I know that's an acquired trait that has to go in that. So just like I said, it's not actionable, just for your information. I'll stop in every once in a while and let you know how things are going with that if you haven't heard anything. If you want to bring it to your trustee liaison, ask them if they could follow up on it. Some of the trustees are interested in following up on it, so you may get some more cooperation from them. So that's item 1. Item 2 is the train station. The village understands the concept of transit-oriented development. We've had some missteps, but I mean, that's an asset. I'm a retired metro conductor, and I've seen multiple communities take that train station and make it the gem of their towns. I don't see why there's any reason why. My vision would be someday you guys redoing TIF 6, taking down those apartment buildings that are on the footprint of around the train station. Encourage, because Villa Park is one of the last areas we don't really have a set downtown. We have business districts throughout the town. If you have an opportunity here to create a development that people would come in and want to build more opportunities for transit-oriented development, where you could have people who would want to be able to walk to the train station and have a nice place to live and have a nice town to live in. Because I have a political side to me, and I'm always talking to neighbors, and I'm constantly running into people who just moved to Villa Park because they like it, because of affordability, small town feel. You know, we have an asset here, and we need to expand that. And once we get the Secretariat situation taken care of, and I don't feel like I'm speaking out of school here, but I'm a member of the DuPage Rail Safety Council, and Manager Harline is an invited guest. He participates sometimes at our meetings. And I'm sure you're all aware of the grade separation feasibility study that was expensed by the village. They haven't presented their recommendations of what projects to do, but they looked at all 3 of our rail crossings and whether to do pedestrian-only underpasses at certain locations, or vehicle underpass, overpass. There's a lot of opportunities, but there's a lot of expense. And I was just speaking before the meeting, and you can't even apply for grant funding unless you have a project in development ready to go. It's got to be on the drawing board. There's got to be a plan designed. And Manager Harline said they're kind of at a sticking point with Ardmore. Ardmore would be the place that they would hope to put a vehicle underpass. But with the Equaterra situation, they're kind of like in a paused moment, because the infrastructure to do a vehicular is really huge. I mean, if you look at recent projects, Belmont Avenue underpass in Downers Grove, or the 25th Avenue overpass in Melrose Park, they're huge projects, and it wipes out everything around it. So I've probably mentioned this in the past, that the asset of the train station, we're kind of stuck there too. First of all, Union Pacific owns the property. They're getting out of the Metro service. They've tried to bundle all their stations that they own to sell to one entity. That didn't work out so good. There was actually an offer for the village to buy it. That didn't work out so good. One thing that people don't know, like with my railroad contacts, is the Union Pacific was based in Omaha. One of the things that they've done is, in order to keep an eye on their profits, they've cut their governmental affairs staff down to the bone. So even if you tried to go to them and say, here's a project we'd like to do, chances are your calls would be unanswered. You might be put to some lower echelon, functionary that doesn't know what you're talking about and passes it along to someone who's not checking their emails. There's not a dedicated staff like there used to be. Nothing can be done without their cooperation. They own the building, they own the railroad. You can't go over or under it without their cooperation, So it's a big project. It takes a lot. It's going to take a long time to do it, but I've been talking about this since the early 2000s. We had our miss when we didn't put the pedestrian underpass, when they redid the Metro station back then. I think when Ray was, it was Joyce DePigia was village president back then. That's how far back that goes. So, in conclusion, don't pass up this opportunity. Even little things like redoing the parking lot, restriping it, and putting in electric vehicle chargers. I just found out that technology now exists where you can put vehicle chargers tapped into the overhead lighting. And there's people out there who want to put these chargers in because it's a profit, source for them. So keep that in the back of your mind when you're looking at economic development, because there is this dead duck laying there that needs to be revived. And that's all I had to say. So thanks for your time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. All right, any other public comments? Commissioner comments? Start with you, got it?
No, nothing. I mean, I'm happy to see this business report. I'm very happy.
Yeah, I'm happy to see the step in the right direction with the letter for the businesses. And then just seeing that new business report is great. It's gonna definitely help us for the next step on, vacancies and et cetera, et cetera. So,
Ethan?
Yeah, I think I know we kind of did like the last we like assigned businesses last time for I guess that was the 2023 year. And I guess whenever we like reassign for 2024, I know we kind of did it more loose, which was good. Just be able to go different places who were not necessarily on that list. I spoke to the gentleman who has the store here. It's the Tech Repair. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. It's like a tech repair. They do laptops, phones.
Yep.
I'm bilingual, so he's primarily Spanish speaking, and I can talk to him. I was gonna do like the whole form and do the whole thing. I didn't get the chance to at the time, but I'd like to go back over there and do that. Talk to him. He had some questions around advertising, so just like putting up signs and stuff on St. Charles. But yeah, I can talk to him and find out more what he's looking to do.
Yeah, and one of the things that we want to arm you guys with is a stack of business cards for me and Stephanie, the planner. So when they have actual technical questions, here you go. Email,
Yeah.
call them, they'll answer you. And
That's a good
next one. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys shouldn't have to be put on the spot on what does the zoning ordinance say. about
Yeah.
signage. Like, yeah, we got that.
Sweet. But yeah.
Except you.
Yeah, but that's everything for me.
Okay. Well, I had just had a couple of comments, and this is about, kind of our profile as a commission and things in the upcoming year. And we do have some village events that, the public sees us and things like that, such as the movies in the park, and then there's the concerts and things like that. What would kind of your thoughts be on maybe just having like a table or something like that, just kind of, promoting ourselves or kind of introducing ourselves to the community and any business owners that might, be there as well. And we also, we have the concerts in the park as
Yeah.
well, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Getting out there, setting up a booth, if you will.
Maybe somewhere close to liquor or alcohol.
No, or right.
So we get a lot of traffic
Yeah.
and things.
Yeah.
But like Tony often has, he sells pizza and things like that at some of the events and things like that. So
Right, as
as his
Tony,
business.
the pizza guy.
You're right.
Right. So
Yeah.
then EDC would be what's your draw? What's your pull in? Is it some sort of graphic thing that pulls people in, or
Yeah.
thinking about opening a business? Comes back to
Sure.
us.
Or even just discussing our 3-year business report and things like
Sure.
that.
Yeah.
To get it out there that as a commission that we are looking at these particular issues and things like
Right.
that.
And I think you guys have a banner already too. So you're halfway there. That, a table, and one other thing, and you're pretty much have a booth ready to roll. So,
So would
yeah.
anyone have any thoughts on that, or this
Yeah.
when the
Sure,
weather's
man,
nice?
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we just have to figure out how to divide it up and
Uh-huh.
everything.
Yeah, I can work with Greg on all of the setup and the design.
And does the
saying, give
park
me a-
district or not the park district, but
Park
the
department.
park
Parks
department
yeah.
do something like that as well?
I don't know if they have their
'Cause
own
I-
setup, but they are responsible for planning all those things.
Yeah.
So I can assure a spot, maybe close to food and beverage.
Food and beverage
And
and,
then,
what other
Mhm.
departments are around and out there.
That'd be great. Yeah, we just have to figure out how to divide it up and everything.
Mhm.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Can I make
Sure,
a
go
comment?
ahead.
I was gonna ask too, so for new businesses, like what you were saying,
Mhm.
do we have like some kind of packet that's just more like informational, you're wanting to open a business, this is how to do it? Like a folder or anything we can give folks?
Not really. We have the dialogue as that conversation happens all the time between me, Pat, and planner and staff. And then we have the formal application that says, here's everything that we need from you to open that business. But we do not have a marketing piece, if you will,
Gotcha.
about, so you want to open a business, here's the things. We don't have that. It's the
Okay.
it's the formal documentation.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
There is a little bit, I think, on the website underneath the economic development tab.
Yeah.
Do you think that'd be something that we'd be able to like kind of print out, or even in this case, because so for my job I do a lot of like tabling events and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So it always helps have something you can hand
Yeah.
folks or QR code and scan.
Yeah, if anything, something that the EDC could tackle would be a marketing piece that could be blasted out for Villa Park is open for business, and
Yeah.
we have opportunities, an easy permitting process, an easy so-and-so process, low fees, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm in favor of that.
Yeah.
We just don't have it right now.
Sure. Yeah. That'd be awesome if we could work on it.
Mhm.
Have something like that ready.
Yep.
And then, kind of as a follow-up to that, this is from Mark and Pat, are we no longer printing Village Matters and mailing it out?
Ooh,
That is actually Village Hall. And no, they're not, excuse
Yeah,
me.
but it's.
I was gonna say, I haven't gotten one for quite a
You
while.
can get it
Incredibly
online and
limited
they
run.
print a very minimal amount
Uh-huh.
that
You
you
used to
can pick
get
up.
an email.
Okay.
I don't think I get
It's
the
it's
email
very,
anymore.
very small amount.
very small run
Very
of
small.
printed.
Okay, so that might be something that we could promote at our booth as well,
Mhm.
is, getting signed up for Village Matters and things
Yeah.
like that, as well as the emergency alerts and things.
Code Red,
Yes,
Yeah.
So they email it, Pat,
it's out there on the website, yeah.
on the
Village-
website, but they don't email it to the residents.
I'm not quite sure that would, you'd have to,
I don't know, yeah, admin
Yeah.
runs it,
That's
I don't
it.
know.
that all comes from Village Hall with the,
Oh,
Administration.
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I knew I hadn't gotten a Village Matters for a long time in the mail.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's very expensive.
Oh, yeah,
Very.
well, just the printing and then the mailing and things.
But there is some other,
Well, what made me think of it
you can
was,
sign up for getting alerts, things like
yes,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Newsletters,
Mhm.
so that's where you would get that.
Okay. Other than that, I didn't have any other additional comments. Mark, do you have anything for staff liaison?
Yes, just one as a kind of a follow-up to what Joe was talking about. So just as update, on March 11th, the village has sent official notice of default to the Ecoterra developer and project. And so that means that we have the RDA, the redevelopment agreement, and then the amendment to it. And then there's a series of dates that have been missed and promises that have been broken. And essentially, here's the legal document that says you are now in default. You have a 30-day cure period. So we're actively in that cure period. And if that comes and goes, then the village has the ability to make the next steps after that. So.
And then the development on Villa, I forgot the name of that one again.
The union.
The Union, yes.
Yep. That is slated to be planning and zoning on April 11th, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where on Villa is it?
Is at the intersection of Wildwood and Villa at the southwest corner. It's like a
Oh, okay.
parking lot right now, kind of rough looking parking lot.
I think I know where that is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's in line with the Prairie Path,
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. That
Okay.
makes more sense.
not Great Western. Yeah.
The tri-trail.
Yeah, part of the tri-trail.
And then I know this isn't your department, but I'll ask it anyway.
Where's that the Great Western? Man,
I think
The
it's
Great-
Great Western.
it's the Great Western, yeah.
because the
Prairie
other
Path's
one.
The
further
Great
I'm
Western
sorry, yeah.
is there.
Great
yes.
Western.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's kind of what I consider
With the arch.
the beginning.
Right next to the arch.
Yeah.
The beginning
Yeah.
of the Great Western.
Thank you. Yeah, so they're in for zoning, and then that'll go to the village board for final approval, and then they're slated to begin construction later this year.
Nice.
And then what, someone asked me this and I didn't know the answer. What is the targeted opening for the new rec center? Do you know? Approximately? Is it
I
this
don't.
fall?
It is.
Okay.
The target is this fall, but I don't know specifics. Yeah.
That's what I told him I thought it was this fall, but I didn't really know the specifics of when exactly that was gonna take place. All right, anything
Yeah.
else from anyone? Comments? All right. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye,
Aye.
Aye.
and we are adjourned.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Gina.
Thanks for coming by.
Oh,
Thanks, folks.
Thank you, Joe.
Good to see you all. Likewise.
Thank
Um,
you.
Larry, just maybe sign this one?
Sure.
Both of us tried.
It's over there.
Did you get Gina's number so we can confirm with her on that
Take
list?
care.
I have her business name.
Okay. Right there, yeah.
Just here where it says Chairperson Tony?
Yep.
Okay.
Nice.